So, good evening, everyone. Once more, like I said before, my name is Maazi, Ezeoke. I welcome you to this State of the Nation Roundtable. And today, in this roundtable, which is a global virtual town hall created by Njenje Media TV to drive and to deepen conversations. Please, those of you who are co-hosts, please do not unmute yourself. Thank you. Today, we are going to be discussing about the End Bad Governance protest that is planned to take place across Nigeria on the 29th of July 2024. As we all know, many Nigerians are disheartened, many pained, many, are hungry. What they earn these days can no longer afford them to eat. The state of the nation is in very deep mess. However, those who ought to govern us appear not to know what is happening, or even when they do know, or when they are told of what is happening, they appear to develop ear infection. We've seen in recent time when a member of the ruling party, a ranking senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in the person of Senator Ali Ndume, made a clarion call to the president to say things are getting out of hands, that the Nigerians are angry. Rather than address his angst, what did Nigerians see? He was unroundly removed immediately. In this case, as you all know, we do have in Nigeria one of those individuals who works for the president. Yesterday, to the charging of so many people, he made a tweet that many Nigerians have called him out on, that they consider that tweet very, very offensive because of its content. He railed out names of those whom he believes are behind these protests. In doing that as well, as you know, he basically began to speak as if the election is not yet won. Therefore, we have assembled men who are non-partisan here to actually look at this issue dispassionately and to discuss this deeply as it concerns Nigeria. Because as it appears, the young Nigerians are hell-bent on going on the street as the backdrop of what happened in Kenya to register their anger and their disgust. To help me drive this conversation this evening, I have with me in this house Barrister Saraki Husanini. I have Professor Chris Nwaokobia, Saratu, Larai, Shekari, Dr. Paul Moses, and Elder Deli Ajufo. To kick the ball rolling, pardon me to bring to the fore here, to actually, I believe in my prior conversation to this, town hall, that he has read the tweet. Professor Chris Nwaokobia, thanks very much for joining us. I can see you now. So, pardon me to bring in a barrister as a legal practitioner, or as a learned silk, as they like to call themselves, to basically take the first shot at this. Barrister, are you there? So, Barrister, please, you have read the tweet in question. You are from Bauchi. You understand what is happening at the ground zero. You know what the people and the things you hear that is happening. Would you tell us, are there correlations between what Bayo Onanuga tweeted to what you see and hear in the streets of Bauchi. Thank you very much. The virtual lecture is yours.
Thank you very much for having me. It's unfortunate that where I am, there is no electricity, or the NEPA have taken up the light. And,
it's not your fault. You know, very much pardon. You can go ahead, but we'll still see your face though.
I have to cage myself inside the car to make sure that I participate in this thing. Well, the truth of the matter is that, believe you me, if you ask me, I should be able to tell you that up till now, I did not go through what this bio on Anoga or what have you write as far as this thing is concerned. What I see is the caption that Peter Obi is responsible for this, for that, for this, for that. And anytime I see it, I don't even read. I just forget about it and go my way. But however, to give my voice to what is happening as far as Bauchi is concerned, Bauchi is divided into, let me say, maybe 60, 40, or even 30, 70. In that, a lot of people are saying that they are going to participate in the protest, while a lot of other people also are saying that they are not going to participate in the process. That is in the protest, sorry, in the protest. So, and the reason being that it has happened before. A lot of people came out during the answers and protested. You know what happened? There was virtually no any changes that we have seen, and a lot of lives were lost. So, and some other people also argue that because of the situation, economic situation, and the security challenges in the country, whether you are sitting at home or you are anywhere already, you are more or less a dead person. So it is better they came out on the street to protest. No matter what will happen, should happen, but they are going to come out and protest. But as far as I'm concerned, like myself, I know truly that Nigeria, we are not ready for any protests. Let me just tell you the truth. Personally, my own opinion, I'm not ready for any protest in this country. Why I say this is because up till now, Nigerians, we don't even appreciate, you know, our all rights. We don't even know what is good for us. Most of those people that are calling for these protests, a lot of them, they are calling the protest genuinely, believing that through this protest, they will be able to salvage this country. While other people are hanging around, waiting for this protest to come, so that they can witch hunt a lot of people. Let me tell you, in 1999, when I was, you know, in secondary school, there was this post-election violence that happened in 2007, and what have you. Do you know that in most cases, those people that coming out to protest against the election result are not the people that are what perpetuating evil and crime during the protests. You see people going to shops, like for instance, I could not forget that when I was writing my JAM, when I was going to the university, there was somebody, a Robaman Ijero. He was the one that used to go and take passport. That time there were no enough photographers that take people passports. He used to go house to house. Whenever there are students that are going to universities, he will take you passport, you just give him his money at home. Do you know that these people, that man was a very peaceful man in the north, in Bauchi particularly. They went and lynched that man and killed him because of post-election violence. So ever since when I grew up as somebody who don't want this kind of things. If we have a better way of doing this thing, we had opportunity to change the narratives during the 2023 election. What have we done? Later on, we'll come back, we'll be started complaining, we are going for protests. And during this protest, this Nigerian army, these soldiers, these police, they are frustrated. Most of them, their salaries and other things have not been paid. So a small thing now, if you are not careful, they will use force against you. And before you know, a lot of people will lose their lives. So I think what we need to have done, personally to me, though by the provision of the Constitution of Nigeria, you have every right to protest. But while you are protesting, it has to be within the confine of the law. But how sure are you that, considering the number of Nigerians, Nigeria is over 200 and something million people. How many police and soldiers do we have? I don't even think our police and soldiers are up to 1 million. Combined Nigerian police, Nigerian soldiers, and even civil defense. I don't think if we are up to 1 million. So if there is a protest now, these soldiers and police are not able to provide and guard the security and lives of properties. What are you saying? Who will be held responsible? Assuming, for instance, there is protest in Bauchi, and then some of these hoodlums now enter markets where a lot of people are owning businesses. Most of those people that are owning these businesses are not even indigenous people. They vandalize their properties, burn places, and the soldiers and the police are not able to man or to guard those properties. What are we saying?
Okay, my dear brother. Yeah, let me guide this conversation. This is a video of Shehu Mahdi that came out today. This video is now on the screen. Can you just take a snippet of this? Then it will guide me to the question.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wannan fitowa na taken babu ruwan Peter Obi da magoya bayansa akan zanga-zanga. Kakakin Bola Ahmed Tinubu, wato Onanuga, ya shaida ma 'yan Najeriya ta hanyar kafofin watsa labarai da yawa cewa wai idan an samu wata tarzoma ko an samu wani tashin hankali ko an samu wani abu da ke da sosarai a lokacin da za a gudanar da zanga-zanga yiwuwa a Najeriya, to wai sun ce Obi ne da magoya bayansa dama ke shirya wannan abun.
Okay, let me take that much here. I believe that will provide context to, the question now. And the question to you is, having listened to that, do you believe that, do you believe, I know you said you haven't read what Bayo Onanuga has said, have written. Now, but in the context here, what he is insinuating that it is Obi and his supporters that are planning this protest. Having listened to Shehu Mahdi, understanding what he said, what is your view?
Well, you see, me, I am a lawyer by profession. I believe in evidence. And the evidence, I don't believe in speculation. Whenever there is an accusation against somebody, it has to be proven beyond reasonable doubt. Mr. Peter Obi is a nationalist. Mr. Peter Obi is a household name. I think if Mr. Peter Obi is in support of this protest, by now I should have seen a video clearly, even if it is just 50 minutes, 50-second video, where Peter Obi will make a call to his supporters and his family members to come and join this protest. As I'm talking to you now, there has not been any video known to me where Mr. Peter Obi come out to support anybody to come and do a protest, or where Mr. Peter Obi sponsor anybody to come out for protest. To be sincere to this man, to be sincere to him, both north, south, and anywhere you come from in this country, you know, if you have any relationship with this man, he's somebody that don't believe in violence. Let me just tell you the truth. Peter Obi did not believe in violence at all. Even this faction you see happening in Labour Party is as a result of his, let me put it, because of his apathy. I don't know how you put his sympathy, sorry. Because of his sympathy, he doesn't know how to hurt people. If not for God's sake, you will see, he will visit Lagos. When he wants to visit Lagos, like for instance, anytime he wants to visit my state, he will say, please, I don't want any trouble. Even when he was sending cow for Salah, he said, I don't want any faction. Please, let you people, he is a man of peace. I don't believe Mr. Peter Obi will call anybody to come and protest or to cause any trouble in the country. He is far, far from that. And as somebody I trust and I know, if he has this plan or is something that he has endorsed, believe you me, he will come out and say it clearly that people, please let us come out and protest. And for the supporters of Peter Obi, I don't know who are those supporters of Peter Obi they are talking about. Anybody that claims to be a supporter of the Labour Party or Peter Obi that comes out to protest, he is doing that one as a Nigerian that has a right to exercise his own right as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria without the influence of any Peter Obi in it or Labour Party. So if anybody decides to come out to protest, he should not wear the shirt of Peter Obi or Labour Party. Rather, he should wear the flag of Nigeria or the T-shirt of carrying the logo of Nigeria as a Nigeria, not as a Labour Party or as a supporter of Mr. Peter Obi. That is how I see it.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. That's eloquently put. Let me quickly ask the only lady in the house, Saratu, Larai, Shekari. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So may you take the virtual lectum, you know, when you look at this, and again, I keep circling what, you know, the initial, but I think there is a background noise from where you are. If I come back again, okay, if I come back again to rephrase this question, having seen the, you know, how Nigerians are suffering, having seen what is happening across Nigeria, do you think that this protest is being organized, quote unquote, by obedience, led by Peter Obi because he lost the election? I will still bring the tweet by Bayo Onanuga on the screen for the world to see. So, you know, as a lady, what's your take?
Hello, thank you very much. I do not think this protest is organized, and I do not know, I'm saying it in clear terms, that it's organized by Peter Obi. This protest is coming from Nigerians that are dissatisfied. The youths who make up the majority of the country are dissatisfied with governance, are dissatisfied with government and governance and how decisions are taken. It's like a report card. Everywhere you go, the reports are damning. There's a red ink on all the economic indices, insecurity, and all you have. So for somebody to wake up and put the blame on Peter Obi or the disobedience or obedience, permits me to say, on obedience, it is very, very wrong. And I think the youths in this country are not mentally captured. They are very aware of what is happening around. They look around, they wake up. Some of them are businessmen like me. Some of them are owners of properties. Some of them are the unemployed youths that are not happy with the way the country is being run. And with the cost of governance, we see how governments shamelessly display so much wealth in the midst of damning poverty in this country. Now, for somebody to wake up and blame Peter Obi as somebody who is promoting this protest, let me say it is every Nigerian's constitutional right in the first place to protest. But my problem is we shouldn't look at the opposition and say, oh, it is the opposition that is at work. The government should be honest enough and sincere enough and bold enough to take the right steps to salvage the sinking economy of Nigeria. And my personal take is that I feel Peter Obi should even sue Onaniga for such slanderous and malicious statements. He should sue for libel. That's my take. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow. Peter Obi should sue for malicious libel. That's another angle to it. You know, let me quickly jump in here and bring our professor here. That is the only Professor Chris Mustpha Nwaokobia. And Prof here, there is this video circulating online. And I want to play us this video before I take the question to Professor Chris Nwaokobia here. In this video, we will see how, anyway, let me not preempt the video in question. Please be the judge.
But they will forget the other one. That is what they are doing with your money. Not enough that they are stealing from our children tomorrow for lack of investment in education. They are still embezzling the retirement benefit of hardworking Nigeria, including our grandfathers. They are stealing the port, the treasury, not even leaving some coins for us to war with. Let them be out now.
Now, Prof, here is the current Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, sometime in 2012-2013, calling for revolution now. Now, under him, it has become apparent that any form of social dissatisfaction is pinned on the obedient, and that someone who is very much involved and who knows where the dead bodies are buried in the obedient movement, and I put it to you, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm going to put it to you. Are you and the obedient planning the protest across Nigeria? Or do you feel insulted that this is being alluded to the obedience movement?
Maazi, let me say without equivocation that Hama has become very impatient. Hama has become the boy next door. Hama has become very profuse and proficient. And Tinubu understands the dynamics. He understands where we are, you know. I think that those who speak for him are unaware of the reality or have deliberately decided to ignore it. Who will plan a protest? How do you plan a protest of this nature? Let me tell you, Maazi and those who are on this platform with us, that those who are actually accused of planning a protest are given a sense of direction to a frustration that become enormous. There is palpable anger, there is palpable frustration, hunger on the street. Last week I was in Lagos, for instance, and I had a craving for yam, and I asked them to go buy a tuber of yam. God is my witness. A very small tuber of yam sold for about 9,000 naira. God is my witness. And I asked myself two questions. Asking aloud, my daughter looked at me and said, "Daddy, you don't know what people go through." I said, "I know. I know because every morning I wake up, there's either a text message or a WhatsApp message from several persons asking for 2,000 naira, 5,000 naira, 10,000 naira. And Maazi, when you were in the country, when you visited, we talked about these issues. The urgency and the reality of now is the fact that young people across Africa are rising up. And so those who are looking for who to blame have decided to reenact the age of unreason. My write-up on these issues went very viral. I'm still very surprised at how far it's gone. And it's still going because Nigerians identify the truism of it. Citizens Joe Bokwe and Baya Onanuga are just gaslighting people. They're just trying to play the ostrich. They understand. They live in the country. They know how difficult it has become. They know that there's pain and anger on the streets. You know, trying to ethnicize it is actually what they think what they're doing is the wrong thing, because I listened to my brother from the north who spoke a while ago, and he captured it correctly. Those who are trying to ethnicize the raging storm are the ones who are trying to provoke conflict and violence. If you ask me, am I in support of the efforts of the Nigerian people, the young people that we call Gen Z, to protest the hunger in the land? And I would say, capital letter, yes. Has P2B and the obedient movements been, is P2B and the obedient movement largely behind it? I'll say no. P2B, like everybody has noted here, is a man of peace. He believes in due process. You know, the question I'll ask by Onanuga is, if P2B did not call out people to the streets when he won a general election, is it now that the Supreme Court and the judiciary has ruled that Tinubu won, that he wants to call out people to the streets? I think that there's something wrong with those who speak on behalf of Mr. President. And I think that they are unaware of the fact that they are not actually trying to divide those who are protesting, who are going to be protesting. They are fueling anger and conflict. I have seen people speak very strongly and vitriolically, if you permit my choice of words. People are shouting out there. People are angry out there because of the words that Bayo Onanuga has used, because of the words that Joe Ibokwe and their ilks have used. Nigerians want to exercise their constitutional right, which is the freedom of assembly, which is the freedom to disagree with government. And I've said, Maazi, and I'm saying this again, that criticism, position, is actually the street that leads to brotherhood and greatness. Criticism, strong opposition, is actually that street that leads to democracy. And those who try to stifle it, those who try to remove it, those who try to derogate and make that right extinct are those who are provoking conflict. What is wrong with Mr. President, if they're truly listening to us, making quick? What is wrong with him saying, okay, forthwith, as part of the effort to stem the raging storm that I call a deluge, that I am cutting my salaries and emoluments by 50%. I'm not talking about just salaries, all the hidden take-homes by 50%. I'm cutting the salaries and allowances of the National Assembly by 50%. I am giving up the purchase of a brand new aircraft. I am ensuring that this and that is done to alleviate poverty. I'm creating farming reserves. I'm pumping out fertilizer and grains. What stops them from taking proactive action? Why are they trying to gaslight people on the lines of ethnicity, the lines of religion, the lines of region? Why are they trying to provoke a generation that has tendencies and thoughts that are like hunger, indiscriminate of creed? Go around Nigeria and you find out that the Gen Z generally do not identify with each other on account of ethnicity, on account of religion, on account of tribe. Go around the cinema centers, go around the clubs, and you find out that they barely or rarely call themselves by their first names or their last names. Everybody's my guy. They don't care who is Yoruba, Hausa, or Igbo. They don't care who is a Muslim. So I think that Bayo Onanuga, Joe Ibokwe and co. are living in the past. I think that deliberately they have decided to walk in paths that are atavistic and few thoughts that are shibboleth. And I think that what we must do as a people is to put issues in proper perspective. P2B has not asked people to organize a protest. The obedient movements are not organizing a protest. Nigerians are organizing a protest. Nigerians have given some kind of notice to government that they want their country back. Nigerians want a nation that is responsible to her citizens. Nigerians want leaders who are responsible and responsive to the people. And the freedom to protest is inalienable. The freedom to disagree is God-given. The freedom to demand rights is as old as the Himalayas. I can hear you, Maazi. Did you hear me? I can't hear you.
No, sorry, Prof, I can hear you. I muted myself, sorry.
Okay.
So now on the screen, and I'll say before I say anything, I'll say your submission, as always, eloquently put. Now, on the screen, here is the tweet by Bayo Onanuga. For those of us on a smaller screen that may not be able to read it, I'll take the first two paragraphs. It says here, revealed, Peter Obi supporters are the people planning mayhem in Nigeria. Obi should be held responsible for anarchy. That is the opening paragraph. Second paragraph says, don't be fooled. The malcontents planning to stage nationwide protests are supporters of Peter Obi, the failed presidential candidate of the Labour Party, and he should be held responsible for whatever crisis emanates from the action. Dr. Mo, are you there? As someone who in the last election was very visible and who worked for within the obedient movement and the campaign, reading this, understanding what you and every other Nigerian like us go through every single day, and the messages we do receive in our inboxes, be it across the social media channels, reading what Bayo Onanuga has penned here. I've also read your response, but that is written. Could you please tell us your feeling?
I'm almost numbed right now, to say the least, because it's almost, I'm even very careful because, and that's why I've resorted to writing, because that way I'm able to articulate and attend to the issues. Otherwise, we are at a point where it's almost as though they are begging for us to just destroy our own country. Meanwhile, it is a ploy that they are putting in place to ensure that that happens, because Bayo Onanuga's tweet was very clear. He accused directly Mr. Peter Obi. He said he is responsible for the looming anarchy. And of course, most of the people on this platform, you're talking about Professor Chris Nwaokobia, talking about Professor Patutomi. Of course, I led the protest during the last, immediately after the elections. But when you see this divisive narrative for the incompetency, the ineptitude, for the almost the embezzlement that is going on, because for all the trillions of Naira projects that we see, from the coastal railway to the, like my senior brother said here, to the purchasing of jets and many other programs that are in, millions and trillions of Naira, including many people are not aware. The FCT minister has 1.2 trillion, with another 93 billion Naira. And then you just paint Asokoro and Maitama, and then you are now dancing every day, almost trying to get, you actually want to infuriate the Nigerian citizen. You get on TV, and what they do every day is to, the minister, Wiki and his people are dancing every day to the sensibilities of Nigerians. Bayo Onanuga is there calling on obedience, and Peter Obi, Reno is there insulting and, defaming Mr. Peter Obi on a daily basis, and it's absurd, and it's what I can say here is that I think we've gotten to the point where all I would advise this current administration and the advisors and the people, the ministers that have surrounded themselves around BAT, is to tell them to do the honorable thing. Let them just bequeath the responsibility of governance to Mr. P2B, because it is clear that he has what it takes to be able to put Nigeria to where it is. And you can see very clearly that they have reached a point where they don't know what to do anymore. They don't know what to do anymore, and they definitely cannot govern Nigeria. So what they're trying to do is to self-implode the country and put the responsibility on other people. I would quietly ask the president to resign quietly and so that we can hold Mr. P to be responsible for the prices of things, for the hunger in the land and everything. Let them resign and hand over the governance to him, so we can hold him responsible. And this is just a way to kind of, be able to retain my anger, my angst, and what is going on. On a daily basis, I have over 100 people in my inbox asking for one funds or the other. As we are speaking right now, people are calling who cannot eat, people cannot move, people can't do things. And yet, what we see around the governance structure is just, almost, I have no nomenclature to describe, what's going on with this regime. And to make things worse is to be calling for the arrest of the most innocent, the most humble, the most patriotic, a man that told me when I was in London that I did not support your protest because my son cannot be in London and I will be telling you to go on the street. Mr. P2B said, if I want to lead the protest, I will go outside and lead it myself. And it's that kind of person that you are accusing. It's absurd, to say the least. I'm trying to gather my thoughts together because of the environment where I am to be able to, articulately, be a part of this program. But I am angry to the teeth because Nigeria we've never been in this. Over 100 million Nigerians can't eat every day. This is the reality. And it's crazy. 70,000 cannot even buy a bag of gari, much less beans. So what are we talking about? This is Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mo. I do not know if Elder Dele Ajufo is there and ready. Now, let me walk back us, people. We saw since a couple of weeks now what has been happening in Kenya. When the Kenyans started their protest, actually, it was the finance bill. And as the protest progressed, they started adding other things, right? And here they are. And hold on, I think we have an invader here. So that's dealt with. Thank you. So now, after a couple of weeks, the Kenyans have moved on and moved on and moved on, and the protest is still ongoing. Sadly, the Kenyans have also lost a couple of lives. The question now to many of us here is, and again to Elder Ajufo, listening to everyone here, as the final panelist here before we take questions from the general public, will be, do you think there is some any sense in what Bio tweeted, or are you going to leave whatever that has happened, or rather whatever the momentum that is happening in Nigeria? Are you going to attribute that to two planks? One, that Nigerians are hungry and they saw what happened in Kenya and they're trying to replicate what happened in Kenya? Or is Bayo Anonuga right in his assertions?
Well, I would hate to insult people on this platform because...
No, please, we try as much as possible to keep it civil.
But call this total destruction. In 2011 and 12, under a political platform, the current president, accompanied by the former president, who is now in Daura, Muhammad Buhari, Wole Soyinka, pastors, popular pastors, some lawyers who are son, gathered in Freedom Square in Lagos and protested, carried a coffin, a mock coffin of a sitting president. Nobody chased them away, nobody complained. Why? Because they believed then, as I do now, that it is the right of everybody to protest as long as you don't become violent. My concern, Maazi, is that Bayo Onanuga this is not the first time he's trying to be divisive. I'm an Igbo man, I live in Lagos. And anytime such statements come up, there are core people who belong to some cult under the leadership of a guy called MC Oluomo, who do not see anything good in the tribe of P2B. And this kind of statement is bound to incite those characters to say that the Igbos don't want their own person to benefit from being the president. It is a very, very gaslighting statement. And I don't think some of us now will sit idle and allow people like Bayo Onanuga to incite young people against us. It's a very serious issue. As for whether it is proper to protest, of course it is. I will protest if I have to, and nobody will stop me. The government is a failed government, bereft of idea, clueless, totally corrupt. Today, we have institutionalized the position of First Lady to the extent that we are preparing budget for the First Lady's office. There's nothing like that in our constitution. And we have a moronic House of Representatives and Senate that cannot even see that Nigerians are looking at this thing and saying, listen, if you don't do the right thing, we'll do something about it. The president is buying new aircraft when people cannot feed. They're spending 15 billion to renovate, not build, renovate the house of the vice president. When people cannot find food, people are picking food from the dustbin in Lagos. They're insensitive. So if Bayo is talking about anarchy, I can tell you one thing. The government intends to infiltrate this protest and create problem and blame it on somebody else. There's nobody planning anarchy. Showore is not a member of Labour Party, nor is he an Igbo man, but he's come out openly to suggest that Nigeria is overripe for protest. The young musician Fela's son, Shehu Kuti, has done the same thing. I'm calling people from his own ethnic group. Dele Farotimi has done the same thing. And Shehu Mahdi has done, many people. There was a cleric in the north 3 days ago who urged people not to fail to come out. He even went, I spoke in Hausa, and he said, it is better for you to come out and die while fighting for your right than stay home and die of hunger. Die a brave man. I don't support that kind of thing. That means go out and create mayhem. Let us come out and let the government hear our voices and know that things are not right. Prof. Nwaokobia just mentioned that I haven't bought yam for some time. Unfortunately, I'm not in the country. A tuber of yam is 9,000. I shuddered. I mean, the last time I bought yam was about 3,500. Now you're telling me in Lagos, 9,000. That means there's no going back. Somebody called me and said they bought a crate of egg for 6,000. These are things that shouldn't happen in our society. So we have to look at things dispassionately from a different prism, not just tribal. It's not the first time. People should talk to Onanuga. You know, he's short of calling him a tribalist. I think he has to think properly before. And he's an elderly person. Think properly. He's supposed to be a good journalist. So statements he makes have effect. Those words he makes, they carry weight, and people should be mindful of what they say. Okay. We're watching if Tinubu will call him to order. We're waiting.
Okay, thank you very much, Elder. And now let me quickly bring back Husanini Saraki, and I'll ask him this question on the screen, and I'll read it out because it may not be too legible for many people watching on the mobile device. These are quotes taken directly from Bayo Onanuga's Twitter handle between the year 2012 and 2013. The top there, during the subsidy protest in 2012, says, subsidy protest, Jonathan cuts a pathetic image. Jonathan cuts a pathetic image, right? The second part says, my take on today's protest, that is when the protest had already started. Bayo Onanuga wrote, it was the best general strike ever in our country. Peaceful, but marred by some minor violence. The third one, Bayo Onanuga, it says, song of protest sent to me by Omotunde Motala Bello. So inspiring, sing it if you speak Yoruba. now calling on his own ethnic nationality. While Jonathan was too busy, pregnant Alicia Keys joined protest for Nigerian girls. That was during the Bring Back Our Girls. So consistently, we can do the same thing on Tinubu's page. Consistently, he had called for revolution now, at least about 5 times. And to the young ones, what I have seen on the on the Twitter streets, that the young ones who are actually planning this protest are saying to themselves, where he endorsed the protest, that they were going to wear it as a badge of honor to go and protest. Now, Saraki, I understand before that you said you did not support the protest, but based on the things you can see on the screen, the highlight I have thrown out here, just opposing it to that comment of Bayo Ononuga, which I had also shared earlier, what do you think the young Nigerians who are hell-bent on coming out should do? Saraki, are you there? Yeah, Husseini, I can hear you, but I know you have, I can see you have unmuted yourself. Oh, you've muted yourself. Oh, no. Oh, your connection. Yeah, your connection is wobbly, but try again.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Yes, I said it's a very difficult question, because if you ask, what can they do? Like I told you, a protest is a fundamental human right. Somebody has the right to protest when things are not going right in the country, or in their institutions, or in agency, or anywhere. Like Mr. Paul, when they did this post-election protest, you saw what happened during that post-election protest. Not even a foul was killed. Not even a foul. Very organized, to the extent that there was no any traffic causing trouble, wahala to anybody. People move freely. You remember during Bring Back Our Girls protest, it was also well organized, and there was no any much problem. And the message was not only sent to Nigeria, but even the entire world knows about this Bring Back Our Girls protest. Also, another protest, I think we have some couples of protests that were very peaceful. My concern here is that already the country, we are facing a lot of, economic hardship. A lot of economic hardship. Like I said, Mr. Paul said there are not less than 100 messages from his phone. People are calling him, texting him to help them, give them food. What of in a situation whereby now, as it is now, when we come out for this protest, the hoodlums now take advantage of that protest, to steal from hardworking Nigerians.
But hold on. Oh, sorry, may I interject here? Isn't it the job of the state? The job of the state is, for instance, you have the Northern youth. I will share their letter to the police. If you have the Northern youth who have gone and who have written the police saying, we are going to protest on the so date, isn't it the job of the state to ensure that those who have come out to protest are protected against any form of attack and hoodlums that will come to damage anything?
That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you. The police cannot do anything. Nobody would stop these hoodlums. Let me tell you something. I have experience, and I want.
They can't stop hoodlums, but they can stop those who have informed them that they want to come out.
That is the funny part of it. Let me tell you, my brother, and let me give you. I believe in evidence. I will give you facts. Okay, for somebody telling you that this has to do with opposition, this has to do with this, this has to do with that. Let me tell you, in my own states, where these protests, where the organizers of these protests, like for instance, on the youth aspect of it, the leader of the protest, Al-Qasim Yellow, is a card-carrying member of APC.
Oh, hold on, hold it there. So what you're saying is that in Bauchi State, the leader of the protest is actually an APC member.
An APC member.
Is he no longer standing? No, is the person no longer standing on the mandate?
That is what I'm telling you. Whether he's standing on the mandate or he's not standing on the mandate, he is the one carrying on with this protest in Bauchi. So if you are telling us, you need to ask, okay, you ask, why is Yellow, Al-Qasim Yellow, who we know in the last election? He was part and parcel of the people that projected, promote, and supported the election of Mr. President Tinubu. And not only that, he was even an agent, a supervisor in APC during the gubernatorial election. And he came to court and testified in favor of APC. Today, Yellow is part of the people that are coming out to even lead. He is even the leader of the youth as far as this protest is concerned in Bauchi, that is coming out to protest against bad governance. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm trying to bring you that there are people who are genuinely saying that no, we have a problem, we have to come and protest. And then there are people, you understand what I'm saying, that are waiting for this protest to come up. Once the protests come up, they may likely come in and infiltrate. And the police, like I tell you, police and soldiers cannot be able to curtail, whatever that, because this protest is going to be different. Unlike the other protest, somebody is talking about subsidy. During oil subsidy 2011, 2012, the hardship now in the country is not the same. So there are people, they will, by mere seeing Gari, they will break any door, any market to take Gari out. No matter who has that Gari, or they see rice, they will make sure that they buckle the market and take away Gari, and rice. This thing is not going to be easy. So even if there is going to be this protest, I think the way they are organizing the protest, or the way they are just, coming, everybody is saying that let's go to the street, let's go to the street. At the end of the day, nobody should be, I will not be held accountable, I will not be held liable, I will not ask anybody to say go to the street and protest. Because the truth of the matter is that what they are planning to do, once we go out on these protests, there are people that will protest peacefully. Even me, I led protests. In 2002, I led protests in my state that led me to prison for 11 days. I was taken to court. You understand what I'm saying? But the problem here is that some hoodlums may likely come and infiltrate the protest. Look at what is happening now. Even in Kenya, they went to shops and break, steal handsets, laptops, and what have you. Even though we have reported to the police, police, we are going to do this protest on so that, believe you me, they can't do it. How many police officers do we have in this country? How many? Let our leaders be sincere. Let them see that, okay, fine. These guys, they want to go on this strike. What are their demands? These are the demands. That is what we want. Even before the protest, let the government see reason, and adjust it so that people will live in peace. There is no way I haven't eaten anything from morning till night, and you expect me I will not be angry. They say that a hungry man is an angry man. Believe you me, this time around, the protest, for anybody to tell you that the protest is going to be peaceful, nothing will happen, is just deceiving you. People are angry. Anything can happen. So our call is on the government to do anything humanly possible, even before the timeline given by the protesters. What are their demands? Look at Labour Congress. They say that their demands, they must pay them 250,000 naira as a minimum wage. They call them for a meeting. At the end of the day, they are able to agree on 70. And you had the Labour president, what he was saying, he said that they say if they add it to 250, they will add the price of petroleum. And he said that because of that, the sympathy he has on the generality of Nigerians, they cannot go on protest, because if they increase fuel price, still we are coming back to square one. So what I'm saying here is that, assuming the protest is going to take place in the Eagle Square, or in a stadium, or in a place whereby we'll be able to curtail the excesses of the bad ones among us, Believe you me, 100%, I will be part of it, and I will make sure that I give my everything, all effort to it. But I am telling you, look at what happened during the answers. During the answer process, we started the protest peacefully. Along the line, Nigerians, my wife was pregnant in Abuja. They stopped us. They did not allow us to go to the hospital for my wife to attend antenatal clinic. So I am telling you that we have problem. So we have serious problem in the country that needs serious attention, that we need to do something about it. But at the same time, we are afraid for anybody. Okay, fine. Can you confidently come out and endorse the protest? You will not be able to do that, because whatever that comes around, they will come back and say, hey, it is Barrister so that say we should come out and do the protest. Or it is Peter Obi that asks us to come and do the protest. That is why nobody will tell you that, oh, go to this protest. But if you feel you want to go to this protest, the Constitution has guaranteed you the right to do that. But whatever you are going to do, it has to come under the purview of the law. Okay, fine. During the last election, you know, Peter Obi has organized 1 million march all over the country. Not Peter Obi, Obedient have organized 1 million march all over the country. In Bauchi, we had a 1 million march. Not a fowl was killed. Not a fowl was killed. In all the 1 million march done by a Labour Party, believe you me, not a fowl was killed. In Bauchi, before we start the 1 million march, I stood up and I told them, I said that Shebi, we call ourselves Obedient. They say yes. Okay, and Obedient is a respectable person. We should not touch anybody's banner. We should not tear anybody's billboard. We should not vandalize anybody's property. I had to do a sermon for them. I believe you me, we do the 1 million march. Not a fowl was killed. Not a poster was destroyed. But this time around, we are coming up as Nigerians, all of us, APC, PDP, Labour Party, AFGA, NNPP, everybody, regardless of political party, they are coming out with different discipline. You understand what I'm saying? So you will not be able to tell this one, please don't do this. He may likely go and do it. And in the process, you are part of the protester. Imagine that somebody, you know, while the protest is going on in my state, somebody now rush and enter Winter Market. All these where Igbo people sell their properties, like all these electronic shops. And the police are there, they try to stop them, they could not, and they start shooting. There could be loss of life. And because of the hardship, I am telling you, I'm not a fortune teller.
So if I understand you,
because of hunger, people will steal. Once this protest goes on, people will steal it because people are hungry.
Okay, I do not know, you know, those that are planning the protest, I don't know. I do not know the contingency plans that they have. For instance, during the EndSARS, the protesters actually had a barricade along, you know, among themselves, that they never allowed anyone to come in that is not, you know, with them. And nothing was destroyed until the protest was peaceful, until government decided to make it a violent protest. In Abuja, at Dede Market, cars, SUVs were burnt. In Abuja, we saw DSS vehicles conveying some lanky-looking young Nigerians, hungry, wretched Nigerians, giving them clubber sticks. They went around destroying cars of those who have come out to join the protest. In Lagos, we saw them conveying people with machete on a BRT bus in order to come and attack the protesters. Not to talk of what happened on the 9th of the 20th when Nigerian youths lay down just to sing the old national anthem, and those paid with their taxpayers' money, their parents' taxpayers' money to protect them, opened live bullet on them, and the rest is history. Fast forward today. This is what, for instance, I'm going to play this video now. This is what the people feel, and this is reality. Now, this is somewhere close to President's home. Nigerians, listen to this.
It's too much. This government is too much for this country. Please, if government work, if they cannot protest, we Yalaja, we go up our yash, we go up our breath, we go protest. Too much government is too much for this country. But before you win, you go survive. The government is too much. Please, but the find solution for this thing. It's too much. Gary 2,000 naira. This when my father bought me. I did not buy 1,000 naira piece of Gary. The standing is 2,000 naira now. It's too much. This government is too much. Even the rent, the rent of 1,200 naira. For what reason? It's too much, oh. To buy meat. With the even the farmers don't rise up. Two fish for Chicago, 1,200 naira, 3 of pieces of it. It's too much. Hey, Joyce Anuwa, Baba West Anuwa, Bode West Anuwa, Yayipo Ejo, Anuwa Kipoju, Ebi Power, and the Sapaya Nigeria Yanjawa, Kosowa, Arawa Taja, Arawa Jau, Atisawa Wajaro, and Anuwa.
So, Professor Chris Nwaokobia, listening to this, I understand that you know you are someone who understands the Yoruba language. I mean, what she has said is not entirely a foreign language to you. Majority of it, she said in him. Before we round up here, what is our key takeaway? You know, we started with the gaslighting of the presidential aide or spokesperson, whatever we want to. Many of us don't even know the title given to him. And now we are here where we can actually feel the pains. You know, the issue is not that we don't feel the pain. We also feel the pain. But it appears there are people who may not be able to bear the pain of what they come, you know, some of us, people can still write us to, no money, you can still probably, if God blesses you, still be able to give 5,000, 2,000, 10,000 as the case. But there are hundreds, millions of them who are not able in any way, shape, or form to even afford 8,000 naira to eat. So listening to that young woman now, just opposing it to what the Gen Zs are planning, do you think something that they need to have a rethink, or they should go ahead and air their mind and take actions as they so wish?
Let me say, Maazi, that listening to my brothers and my sister and listening to the slant of this discourse, something runs through my mind. And it was the words of Robespierre. He said, when the poor have nothing to eat, they will eat the rich. Mark my quotes and choices of words. And then in the course of revolutionary enunciation of ideas, there was Franz Fanon who said that every generation out of relative obscurity discovers his mission, fulfills or betrays it. We are seemingly trying to pet a situation that is very obvious. The Gen Z generation will go ahead with what they want to do. I may not be at the core of the planning, but I endorse it. I want to be quoted as one of those who have endorsed it. I do not know where they meet, but I've endorsed it. And I've endorsed it for two reasons. The first is that this generation of young people have discovered their mission. They either will fulfill it or betray it. And some have said, we're ready to betray it. Some are saying, no, we won't betray it. When in the face of hunger and poverty, hopelessness and despondency, Nigerians are gradually becoming very suicidal. We never used to have suicide as a regular issue in our collective tapestry. Today, if you're not reading about a girl committing suicide, you're reading about a man committing suicide. If you're not reading about that, you're hearing about somebody jumping off the cliff or jumping off the bridge. And then you think that people are going to keep watching this continue. Maazi and those who are with us here, don't forget that a man who's down needs fear no fall. this generation of young people, so many of them are out of school, so many of them have finished their NYSC, and because of wrong policy of government, multinational companies are leaving Nigeria. Poverty, disease, despondency is increasing and snowballing. Nigeria has become the poverty capital of the world, and you think they don't have to protest? What is the solution to the problem? You know, I think that no matter how very interestingly pragmatic we sound, they are not interested in the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. They are not interested in the luxury of cooling off. They are not interested in sit-down look. They are not interested in how much platitudes and nice words we throw at them. They want their country back. Remember when it started in Kenya, some people called me and said, oh, these boys will tire out. I said, see what they are confronted with. I hope people understand it. Every generation out of really people. I'm saying this with all sense of passion, because when we stepped out in June 12 on the Ikorodu Road and Abacha's men killed about 72 of our comrades and colleagues, people didn't think that Nigerian young people could face the bullets. Remember, Maazi, you and I discussed some of these issues before, and I told you that Nigerians are not that cowardly. So those who are gaslighting people do not understand the dynamics. My worry is what I told somebody today. The proliferation of small arms is higher in Nigeria than any nation in Africa. So those who are threatening people with the state must be careful not to provoke violence. Remember that the NSAS protestation was peaceful until the state procured violence. Don't forget that. And then don't forget that if this protestation is going to be a national thing across 36 states and Abuja, it will be difficult to unleash agents of state against these people. Then we'll have terrible trouble on our hands. That's exactly why I have sent that press statement that I made, that reaction that I made to Joe Bukwe and Bayononoga, even to the decks of Mr. President. It's an advice. Do not provoke violence. It's an advice. Do not harangue and harass the people. It's an advice. Do not deny the people the rights to protest. And interestingly, if they heed it, Maazi, you know it will be peaceful. But if they decide to frustrate it, and if they continue to play the ethnic card and the religious card, then we're all in trouble. So I do sincerely believe, and that's why I align with my brother Shore, who said that those who are threatening violence are actually those who are on the side of the state. All the young people are saying is that they have the right to protest and they want to peacefully conduct and exercise that right. And so I think that the takeaway from here should be that we should continue to use our social media platforms, social media vehicles to continue to call on government and the operators of state to de-escalate the choice of threat as a word, to de-escalate their call against people abdicating their rights. Instead, the president and those who speak for him should acknowledge the rights of the people to protest and should encourage the people to be peaceful. To threaten the people that if they come out is to threaten violence, because you cannot take the rights of a man who does not have food. You know, remember the old cliche, a hungry man is an angry man. If you say to him, do not express your frustration, then you're saying to him, you're ready to kill him. You know, and so when he's down, what is he left with? You know, so I think that the time has come for us as patriots and statesmen to begin to speak to the operators of state and ask them to de-escalate on threat, de-escalate on vile words, de-escalate on name-calling, de-escalate on ethnicizing, de-escalate on looking for those to blame for the failure of state. The buck stops at the president's decks. The state is failing because the president is failing. The state is failing because those who superintend the various ministries of state are failing. And so what they must do is sit up and ensure that they fix our country rather than threaten those who are saying that they want their country back.
Thank you very much, Professor Chris Mustpha. That's indeed an excellent submission there. Now, people were rounding up. But before we do round up, we will take one or two submissions from people. We have over we have close to 1,000 people watching these live across the social media handles, right? I think close to 500 people only on YouTube alone. And we have Twitter and Facebook as well. So we'll be taking questions and submissions from participants here. And we do have, I think, Elder Adele Ajufo, you raised your hand. Please, can you make your submission quickly before we take our final submissions here?
Yeah, two things, Maazi. The penultimate speaker, it's like he's giving up. What do we do? I was going to ask him, what do you want the youth to do? Some of us are past the age of wondering where the next food is going to come from, because we've purchased our boarding pass for the world beyond. So I don't really care about myself. But we have children, we have grandchildren.
You're referring to Husanini Saraki?
No, that's the guy from Gombe, Bauchi.
Bauchi, yes, Husanini Saraki. Saraki, did you hear the question? Did you hear the poser he put to you?
Yeah.
No, before he answers, Maazi, that's a question for him. Does he want us to sit down and die in our homes without trying to make government change what they're doing that is very, very obviously bad and inciting? The other thing I want to say, and I'm addressing Bayo Nonoga, and let me say it openly. When there's a problem in the land and it persists, the government has a hand in it. The government security has a hand in it. If Bayo Nonoga is thinking of anarchy, despite the fact that over the years we have protests that have been peaceful until the government comes into it, answers a typical example. If he is alluding to an anarchy that may ensue and blaming P2B, then he must know that there's somebody planning anarchy in the country, and he should be held responsible for that. Because as far as I'm concerned, P2B, people, I know that after the election, the youth wanted to go and protest. They said, don't protest, let's leave it to the court. He's a man of peace and a man who believes in the judiciary as a beneficiary of the court process during his days in Anambra State. So to allude some nefarious actions to that gentleman, it borders on madness and false allusions. So Bayo Nonoga should apologize to the nation and promise never to incite people. I'm very concerned. As an elderly person, I have seen it happen in Lagos, and it will happen again. If there's a protest in Lagos, the hoodlums who are on their payroll will unleash mayhem. And I can tell them, some people are not ready to accept it anymore. They better take this to the bank. Thank you.
So, Husanini, do you have any response to that?
Yeah, I listened to it. You know, like I tell you, each and every one of us has his own training. By my training, I'm somebody who is trained to protect life. As a lawyer, I am a human rights activist. I'm a lawyer. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't believe. Okay, fine. Let me ask you this question. What has do you think that Arab Spring has paid? What has it paid off? Algeria, Liberia, Libya, Syria. As I'm telling you, as I'm talking to you now, the proliferation of small arms and light weapons in Arab Spring, this country of Algeria, Libya, Syria, Sudan, you understand what I'm saying? There are still a lot of problems there. The uprising there did not solve any problem. You understand what I'm saying? Let
me take you on this. Now, let me ask you this question.
Yes.
The Kenyan government had a 50% cut in terms of their salary. The Kenyan government had the finance bill stopped immediately and never to be reintroduced. And the Kenyan president dissolved his cabinet. Now, these three key points, would it have happened if the people were, just telling them, government, do something, we don't like this finance bill? Do you think any of this would have taken place?
Saraki, please, a minute. Before you answer, let us add that the same protest brought about a change in Senegal. The man who is the current president of Senegal was in jail. People protested. He was brought out of jail and won an election. You don't venture, if you don't buy it, you don't get it. We must attempt to change the system, albeit through peaceful means. But you don't sit at home and expect this government, lunatic, stealing, kleptomaniac government to do anything. They will not.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
What I'm saying here is that don't you think Nigeria, we should learn lessons from those things that happen across the globe? Must we wait till 29th and 1st of August before we take action? We are saying that even before the protest, let Nigeria take the initiative to solve all those problems, all those cry out. For instance, now, people are saying that the price of gari, price of rice, price of food, fuel.
So how can Nigerians solve these things that they are demanding from their government without the government intervening?
Because in the protest, and let me tell you something. Do you know that even this palliative they are distributing, the palliative is not reaching the common man? If they send 20 trucks of rice, believe you me, some of these politicians are not sincere. Instead of distributing to those that deserve it, they will take those rice out of the country to Niger and other neighboring countries. Because Sefa is relatively good now. So they will go and sell it and get Sefa and get money. So even if we are going to do these changes, we should make sure that there is a monitoring in place, our borders. If the government subsidize food, bring food to the people, they should try as much as possible to make sure that it is not taken out of the country. They should man those borders to make sure that nobody takes away anything.
At the end of the day, is, Husanini, my learned gentleman, now do not argue against yourself here. You are saying they should. Who are the they? The citizens or the government? Bear in mind here, we are talking about the citizens taking action. If the government had taken action ab initio, there is no need for the citizens to come out on the street. If the government did not, in the midst of poverty, the National Assembly men and women bought 160 million naira SUV each. The people should not be on the street. If the government is not talking of using 150 billion to go and buy a private jet where people are hungry, the people will not be talking of being on the street. If the government is not stealing our money. Look, since the time of oil discovery in Nigeria, did you read the Financial Times article of day before yesterday that came out indicating how the heads of this, the current people governing this nation is filtering resources with oil bunkering? This is from Financial Times. It's not from me, so it's not like they can sue me. If they want, they can go to United Kingdom and sue Financial Times. It's when these young Nigerians read all these things in the papers and say, our rep, what can you do? Did you not watch on Friday where Senator Ireti Kingibe was saying that there is an area in Abuja where the shops got burned? Please let government repair it, then get the original owners and give them subsidy for them to buy back. And the Senate president asked, why would government use the money to repair it and give back to them? And I failed to ask, when they bought cars of 160 million, what was that for?
It was his
Is that not what they gained from the government? What you are saying, no, my question to you is, I appreciate the fact that you're a peaceful man, myself too. But if we are going to tell the young, the essence of this meeting here, if we're going to advise the young Nigerians not to take to the street, the question that I have genuinely asked is, what those listening to us, over 1,000 of them listening to us now, what are we going to tell them to do as alternative?
Yes, that is what I'm telling you. I said that considering what is happening in the country, people are really angry and people are hungry. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody is happy. I'm telling you, even some of the politicians themselves are not happy because they cannot live peacefully in their home. You understand what I'm saying? Only few of them, the rich ones, at the top level, that are maybe in Abuja or somewhere. But if you are in your locality, you cannot, if they say with fine car, you want to enter your house, you cannot enter. You have to make sure that you give them food to eat because there is no food. Even in our houses, we are not secured because of what? Because of hungry is everywhere. But what I'm saying that even if people are going on this protest, like you said, that whether with whatever force people are going to go out with this protest, there are procedures you follow to make sure that it was peaceful. You understand what is going to be possible? For instance, now, the protesters should try as much as possible to guard anybody from what? Tampering with the properties of innocent people. One. Secondly, while you are doing the protests, you should not, each and every one of you among the protesters, when you see anybody infiltrating, there is a stranger, you should be able to help the police to arrest the person. You understand what I'm saying? But apart from that, left to me, we had the opportunity, like I told you, in 2003, in 2023. What happened? This time around, some youth of the APC are coming out to protest. They say they want to come out and protest. PDP are coming out to protest. Labour Party members are coming out to protest. The sense of unity and the sense, the unity in voice now is no longer the same. Likely, if we can keep on the conversation, we keep on the conversation in 2027. You understand what I'm saying? The youth, we can come together to wrestle power and make sure that we are able to get the leaders that we desire.
Okay.
But what I'm saying here is that now, nobody is saying that they should not go out and protest. But I am saying that, me, as far as I'm concerned, knowing the kind of situation in the country, small thing now, they will just shoot people and nothing will happen. You know, Nigeria is different with other countries. Look at what happened during this census. All the committees, human rights committees that was formed, there was no one implementation. In my state, there are about 20 judgments. Not one was implemented. People were killed for nothing. So we are saying that if there is any way, alternatively, we can keep on, uniting ourselves, regardless of party affiliation, to make sure that we wrestle power. We voted the people that we desired. We think that they can do they can salvage this country. It's better for us. But once it is 2027 election comes, they will still come back to their primordial sentiment of ethnicity and religion. So, my brother, just forget it. Why can't we?
Now,
it's I like. We are suffering. Let's protest. But when it comes to voting, they will do their own. They will do their own this thing.
Now, I've get your point. You are basically advising the Nigerian youth to wait till 2027 that they can make the change. However, in your concluding statement, your last statement, you invalidated what you said before by saying that in 2027 they will still vote with primordial sentiment.
This is the problem.
Exactly. So it means if you do nothing now, if I take your words, if you do nothing now, then you come to 2027, the primordial sentiment, even those who are hungry will still vote whatever they want to vote. I mean, that's, it's, it's indeed a dilemma.
That's what I'm telling you why we are not happy with the situations now.
Yes, you're correct. Okay.
Little by little, people are beginning to understand, what is happening in the country. Like I told you in 2023, Al-Qasim Yellow happens to be a supervisor of the APC. He is a supervisor. Today, he is the one leading the protest, saying that on 29 and 1st of August, they will go on protest. But I'm only telling you, I said that if this tempo will continue till 2027, there is every likelihood that we can put heads together, north, south, to make sure that we vote the leaders that we all desire. But my fear is that this primordial sentiment, once the time of the election comes,
my brother, it's the primordial sentiment that is contained in the tweet by Bayo Ononuga in gaslighting. Because listen, if we don't do the right things and call him out in this gaslight, and this type of narrative continues to 2027, then I can tell you that the result of that 2027 election is already written 3 years ahead. Now, let's listen to this. This is a government where people are, we hear that the government has sent trailers, truckloads of palliatives to states. In this video, do not cry. I mean it, every sense of it, do not cry. In this video, we will see a palliative given to 330 people and how they intend to share it. Listen to this.
Greet everyone from where you are watching North from. I'm Jobiola Luaritimi, the chairman, Nigeria Association of Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Practitioners. A few days ago, I was called upon that the state government or federal government or whatever, I don't know which one I can call it, that they are distributing palliative. I should come and receive for my members. I was speechless when I got there. Come and see what I saw. Please remove this thing. Somebody should ask it. Can you see by yourself? Can you see this is maize? This is maize. Can you see it? Can the whole world see it? And this is rice. Look at the rice as well. And I want to tell you that we even paid for this. They collected money to convey this. And this quality you are seeing here is for a member that is almost about 300 practitioners under me in Akure South and Akure North. And I don't know how I will go about this, giving it to them. I just want to appeal to the state government and even the federal government. They should please leave us alone. We don't want all this issue of food palliative to be distributed again. This is cruel. This is purely inhuman. This is wickedness. They should please leave us alone. And I know that the special grace of God, very soon, the Lord is going to take us out from all this suffering. Amen. And that is it. Ohun tí mo sọ fún àwọn èèyàn mi ni pé ẹ jọ̀ọ́ lẹ́nu ọjọ́ mẹ́ta ẹ ló pè mí wọ́n sọ fún mi wípé ká wá gba palliative ká gbóúnjẹ fún àwọn èèyàn wa ṣùgbọ́n ẹ wo ohun tá a rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo ti ṣó yín yẹn kí ìjọba kan jọ kan fi wá sílẹ̀ náà ìwọ̀nba nǹkan tẹ́ ẹ̀ rí bí báyìí òun ni a fẹ́ pín fún almost about 300 people tó yẹ pé wà ní under mi ebi ò lè pa wá kú kí ìjọba fi wá sílẹ̀ either the state government or the federal government kan fi wá sílẹ̀ mo bẹ̀ wọ́n Ondo state láti ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí mo bẹ̀ wọ́n kan fi wá sílẹ̀ so that lágbára Ọlọ́run gbò bá yá Ọlọ́run á yọ wá kúrò ní ọ̀fìn tá a wà á yọ wá kúrò ní wàhálà tó wà ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi àbí ẹ fẹ́ jẹ́.
Okay, now I want to bring before I take those, raising their hands, I want to bring Dr. Paul Moses, Dr. Madmo. Can you look at this video? This is something given to 300 plus people. When I watched that, my first instinct is grab a tablespoon, give each person a table, just dig a table, not even dishing whatever, just normal tablespoon, dish it. That's one palliative for you. One palliative for you. You can go feed it to your bed, or you can count it, because at least the corn, if they count the corn, maybe each of them might get up to 10, grains or out of it in order to feed. Dr. Mo, watching that video, what comes to mind?
Okay, I'm trying to put on my video. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hold on. We had an invader before. I took the permission to turn on video, but let me quickly grant you.
Okay. Now I can speak with her. Okay.
No, I mean, it's good to see you. I'm granting you the permission to start your video now. Go ahead, Dr.
Okay. There is, you can see that I'm stuttering because
you've turned into a stammerer now.
Yes. I don't know how I take speak English looking at that thing, because how do you
sorry, but Dr. Mo, before you continue, yes, based on the accusation from Bayo Onanuga and watching this. And, you know, the sad part is the man said they actually paid to have this delivered. And I said to myself, maybe they paid to P2B, and P2B is actually trying to make it so difficult for the government. And, you know, he took the money and delivered to them this. So maybe they will go and hold P2B.
Yeah. No, I think that's exactly what happened. Mr. P2B is the one responsible for this, you know. There is no better way. Now, you have even helped my expression. Now I can speak because, you know, I didn't know how to speak before, but, you know, it's easy because P2B is responsible for all the prices of goods that have gone up, the diesel, the petrol, all the animals that are being killed every day, the potholes and all the nonsense happening. In fact, the stealing, the rustling that is going on. P2B is responsible. He is responsible for the snatching of ballot boxes. He's responsible for even the way Wike speaks. You know, he's responsible for Balablu. P2B is responsible. Now it makes clear sense, because what else would make sense if not that P2B? Look at what P2B has caused these people. I mean, because they are Yoruba people, he decided to even do this to them. Because you can hear from the video, the man is speaking Yoruba. That is P2B. That is what he has done. This is the only way. You see, this rhetoric is what Mr. P2B has caused. You know, so you begin to wonder, because it's almost as if we are not alive in Nigeria. It's almost as if, Maazi, we are not even, this conversation we're having is not real. You know, maybe we are dead, but we think that we are alive. This reality that we're going on is not true, because how does it make sense? This is 21st century, for goodness sake. This is, we are living at the time where people can actually plant, you can have what we call airspace agriculture. We're living at the time when our children are connecting through technology. We are living at an impeccable time in the history of the world. But this is how we've been reduced to less. Even animals. I mean, I'm talking about donkeys, cows, and goats cannot even be behaving like this. But this is what we have. And guess what? Mr. P2B and obedience are squarely responsible. I mean, so that's where we are. And like I said in my opening, now it makes sense. My advice to President Tinubu and Bayo Onanuga and all of them is to quietly relinquish their position and resign, so that P2B and his people can take full responsibility for what is going on. This is the only thing that makes sense, you know, because it's absurd. This is, like he rightly said, it's inhuman. This is wickedness. You know what?
I think, Dr. Mo, they have taken the speech out of your mouth. Now, let me allow Debbie Osayande. Debbie Osayande, can you kindly unmute, please? Debbie Osayande. Kindly unmute, please. After Debbie Osayande, we'll take Hope. Debbie, are you there? Okay, Hope, if you're there, kindly unmute. Okay, Debbie. You've been asked to unmute, Debbie.
Oh,
okay.
Certainly. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now, loud and clear.
All right. I'm really excited to be here this afternoon. Yeah, it's 2:03 here. I'm calling from Houston. And Maazi, good job from your end, because I've been following you for years now, but I'm really opportune to be in your live show this afternoon. I've heard so much from all the speakers that spoke earlier. And I want to say that I am in the side of the Gen Z, as they call themselves, you know, to protest, because the government will never listen unless they see something that is hard. And that is when the youth, those who are being beaten by the pains in the society, speak up and take actions. Yes, there are lots and numbers of things the youth and everybody at large, Nigerians, including us outside the country, are clamoring for. And what is that? Good governance, good leadership. We want things to work the way it works in other countries. Now, here is the thing. The set of leaders we have, one of our lovely brothers, Dele Farotimi, says, they are not leaders, but dictators. They are not leaders, but there's a word he used, and he will always say it, that these are not leaders. Oh, sorry, skipped me now. But the point I'm making is, there is no iota, there is no sign of leadership in the life and, the manner of those whom we call leaders today. And now, one thing I just want the youth, I'm in support of them, I wish I'm on ground, I will also join them, is that in all of their asking, they should endeavor to ask the government that the pay they are giving to a typical senator in Nigeria, which amount to like ₦1 million for one day, because at the end of the day, we understand they go home with about, is it 29 million or thereabouts per month or per annum? I don't care. But an average Nigeria, now we understand that they are being paid 70 naira, per month, which cannot even buy a bag of rice. Because the last time I asked, I understand the bag of rice is about 80,000 naira. Now you are giving that to a family, a man with kids in the college or anywhere they are. They will feed, they will go on transportation and stuff like that. So how can they survive earning that amount? So what I am clamoring for and asking the Gen Z who want to go on rampage and, talk to the government, this is what we want, that they should also make sure that those in the house earn the same amount of money, 70 or whatever it is, that is the minimum wage, so that we can start talking live and direct. As long as we allow them to continue to earn in millions and then giving us peanut, and at the end of the day, giving us palliative, what can palliative do? By giving palliative to Nigerians is by impoverishing them the more. Nigerians do not need palliative. And another thing I also want to sensitize the youth about is that, look at, as long as Nigeria keep on having the Mahmoud, what's his name again? The INEC chairman as the leader, it means we are not wise. We are not doing anything. Nothing is moving on. Two things. Those in the house should earn like every other person. Not that they will be earning 29 million per annum because they are sitting down for like 2 hours, 10 hours during their meeting session and makes them better than other Nigerians. That should be stopped. It should be part of the demand. And then if we really want transparency and good governance and good election in the nearest future, whoever that has caused Nigeria this pains today in the person of Mahmoud should be removed. Those are two key things I think should be added to their demand. So I will just stop here so that I can give room to other people to talk. Thank you so much, and I'm happy to be here with you today.
Thank you very much, David, and
thank
you for joining us. You actually, you didn't sound like a first-timer. You put your views very eloquently and straightforward. And let me take Hope. Hope, are you there?
Yes. Good evening, all. I'm quite impressed with what David said regarding the House of Assembly and the quite loads of looters there, because I don't believe they are politicians. They are just there for themselves. Look at the way things are. When I watched that video, in fact, I was so emotional, and that was why I raised my hand. How can you send a whole in fact, it's like 2 mudus of rice. If you're from the north, you will understand what it means.
It might not even be up to a mudu. Mudu is less than a cost. It's less than 10. Is it 10 liter container? Just to give people graphic this,
So, but they are talking about VP's house. Do you know how much they talk about building that house for? I was asking, does it mean that the former VC wasn't living somewhere? The vice president, the former one, doesn't have accommodation.
No, maybe he was living under the Aso Rock.
So calculate the money, all these House of Assembly, all of them, how much they are being paid yearly. It could develop in fact, it could solve all the problems that we have in Nigeria. The bad roads, the hospital. An uncle of mine just died out of a silly mistake. There was no light while they were doing the operation, and the light went off. A whole general hospital. For goodness sake. And he died on the table. These are just minimal things that this money these people are collecting. In fact, I don't believe that Tinubu can do that because of the way he got into power, that he'll be able to do that. I had one of the conveners talking about the hoodlums, people that will come out. These are people who the politicians are feeding. So that when the honest ones that want to protest comes out, those ones, they will just fire them up so that they will start looting innocent people's things. But do you blame them? Look at how much is Gary. I spoke to my mother. He said, so people are just dying for no reason because they cannot afford common thing just to feed themselves. Let's just say twice in a day. The first people they should go and protest about is the salaries of these politicians. All of them, starting from both the governor, the president. They shouldn't be taking that money home. I'm sorry, that's why I said, in fact, the protesters, if they are here, that's the main thing they should go in there and do. Because it happened in Kenya. Those ones ran into the bush. Let me see, some of them, they have houses abroad. If Nigerians would do that, I'm sure those politicians they will not have a second thought to come back again in 2027.
Well, the only danger I see here is if it comes to running, sadly, majority of those National Assembly cannot run, especially the men, because they are approaching their third trimester in their belly protrusion, so they might be unable to run. So that's the much we can take, people. If we do have any question or contribution, if not, we will take our closing remarks from our guests. It's been a fantastic conversation here. People, do not forget, we started this evening looking at the comments made, which was intended to gaslight. And as we started, those comments were put on the screen for every Nigeria that is watching us and other people from the mother continent to see. That was totally needless, as many of us have agreed, and was unnecessary. Having said that, we progressed to say what could be what we would do, and some of us, or some of the panelists, argued that they wouldn't encourage the youth to go on the street for their safety, while some forcefully said that they encourage them and they would support them in any way they can to go on the street and demand for their rights. And in doing that, again, we played a video of palliative being shared, and in watching that video, people, you're actually looking at where something that is less than 5 kg each. I think the rice was less than 5 kg, and the maize was less than 5 kg, and it was given for 300 people plus to share. Divide 5 kg by 300. You, mathematics guru, you can tell us how many grains that each person will get. But before we call it a day, we have Ahmed Rufai, who has joined us, raising his hands. Let's take his submission. Ahmed, you have the floor.
Okay, good evening, ladies, and I think we still have ladies in the house.
Yes, we have many of them.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am speaking from the north and on behalf of the northern people, northern citizens of Nigeria. What has happened in the last 1 year has been that of hope lost on a country that we all had a lot of hopes for at the beginning in 1960. I don't want to go back to 1914 I want to take it from 60. The opportunities we threw overboard in our sail towards nationalism. But worst came to head when APC took over. And they have taken Nigeria to the precipice where no one expected us to be. Most often than not, you will wake up in the morning in Nigeria and begin to wonder if this is Nigeria. Thank God, our section of the northern states that didn't know how to go about this thing before do now know. Why did I say so? We listen to our leaders, our religious leaders in the mosques and churches, and whatever they tell us, we accept. We don't ask questions. But this hunger, insecurity, lack of work to do, and a whole lot of pain came to play. And we started asking ourselves, and when you hear sermons in the church, and you hear khutbah in the mosque on Friday, and you go home, you begin to analyze and think, what did this sheikh or this imam tell me? Is this true? You know, when doubt sets in, questions begin to fly and answers begin to come. And you find out that politicians over the years have been taking money and buying these people in the pulpit. And they come and talk to the congregation, and we believe because they use God to talk to us. That is a blackmail. They have been blackmailing God all this while. And because the adage that one day is for the owner, that that is the thief may have 1,000 days, and then one day is for the owner, has come to play now. There's a gentleman here, Dr. Moses Paul, Dr. Mu. He tried last year after the elections to try to talk to Nigerians, but you know, Northerners were able to stop him because they didn't join. Good thing it is the North today that have taken the lead. Nothing happens in the North good. Nothing good happens
Let
there.
me, Ahmed Rufai, let me quickly ask you this question before you continue.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, there is this accusation coming from the presidency of Nigeria, that this protest plan is being sponsored by Peter Obi and his supporters. Now, I do not know which state you joined us from the North, but is Peter Obi sponsoring you guys in the North, and how well is he doing that?
Okay, Peter Obi is not sponsoring anybody in the North. The sponsors, I can list them for you now.
Go ahead.
And if you hear the name, you will not be surprised that they are the sponsors. Peter is not part of it.
Okay. So who are they?
So let me give you the lists. Number one on the list is insecurity. Number two on the list of sponsors is hunger. Number three is the Samoa Agreement, where our agency, I know some of you understand Hausa. Our agency is marriage of both sexes.
Yeah.
You know, same sex, LGBTQ. Those are the proponents of this proponents of this protest. Bayo Onanuga, has, done what they have been doing in the villa. What has made Ali Ndumi accuse them that they have shielded their president from knowing what is happening in Nigeria. And it's true. That man sits there, they tell him cock and bull stories, and he accepts because they do not allow him to know what is happening. And this man wanted to tell him. So those are the things that have actually propelled or have proponents of the protest. Peter Obi has nothing to do with it. And the luck is that this has propelled Peter's image the more. That this man, if you go back and listen to his rallies across the North last year, you will find out that most of the things that he was fighting against and preaching against were the things that happened. And now people have seen him in the North, that really this man was right. And he should have been the president. God, it has happened. Thank God the Obi is still alive. Inshallah, we are waiting. If anything happens to this protest and peradventure they run, because they are all sitting on the edges of their chairs now, they run, we will call our man to come. Inshallah, by the special grace of Allah, he will be president, and we believe he's not going to tell us lies. We believe he's going to work according to exactly what he has said in his manifestos, because his manifesto was not plagiarized. Those that plagiarized manifestos from other countries have come, and we are looking for ministers to put, and we expect them to have had their shadow ministers even before the election. They didn't have. And they were telling stories that they want to become this, become that. When time came, people like Wiki became ministers. So would Allah. Please.
Okay.
Let me not bother you people with too much talk. Please.
Thank you.
Thank you for this forum. Thank you very much. I want to thank you once more.
Thank you very much. Ahmed, Rufai, Khalid. Thank you very much. Oh, Dr. Anungo Moses, longest time. Okay, you're raising your hand. I wanted to round up quickly, but let me grant you the... Dr. Anungo Moses, go ahead.
Well, thank you very much, Maazi. Really, it has been a while, but I've been following you. I've been following your channel.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I decided to join this conversation based on the topic. I was so impressed about it, and I said, no, let me come around and give a second thought about it. Some time ago, there was a conversation that a day will come that a mass protest will be held in Nigeria. And I say, I pray that day should come, but when it comes, let it come in a very massive manner. To me, if you ask me, Maazi, sincerely, the country is not ripe for protest yet. I expect another 2-3 months so that the hunger can beat deep in the minds of Nigerians and touch to the nooks and crannies of this country, where people will look at other human beings and feel they should eat them alive. And then a protest of that nature will begin, and within 72 hours, it will bring Nigeria to a standstill, and we'll get all the results we want. But as it stands now, some people are still getting little things to eat and survive. But if you ask me, we'll wait like 2-3 months. I tell you, even the Gary that is available now will finish. corn that is available will finish, everything will finish, and human being will start looking at the lower ones to eat. And at that point, that is what we call the boiling point. When it gets to that point, all these human beings you see then in Agbada and National Assembly who are talking nonsense, all these Onanuga that are making nonsense speech across certain media houses, they will go into hiding. None of them will come to the pulpit, to the public. All the imams, all the priests, all the pastors who are preaching in their churches, they will run after their life, I tell you. But let it happen now. So that we can see the extent to which it will go and the impact it will create in our society.
Moses, some people who are really hungry, and angry, listening to you, that you want the hunger to change gear so that the people will really have a brain reset. I don't know, I don't know if you push people to the wall, but there is something I do believe, honestly, in as much as this protest is happening. I mean, people should be able to exercise their right of protest. It is your constitutional right, as long as you remain, within the ambit of the law. However, I think that the real protest will happen unplanned, not these ones you print posters and T-shirt or whatever. There is an Igbo adage that says, when a woman runs and holds the breast, I think even Fela used it when in one of the songs, he says, Ashanti Prova, Fefene Fentina, about Tumericane, that when a woman runs and holds the breast, there isn't, it's not, there is nothing serious coming after the woman. But if real danger comes, the woman runs without minding if the breast is hitting her back. So
I agree with you, Maazi.
No, I'm not trying to be too graphic, but there is no better way to do it. So when the time comes,
Maazi,
it wouldn't be this planned. Anyway, we are rounding up now, people. So Elder Adelia Ajufo, you wanted to say something.
No, I was telling you about your analogy about woman running. There are children listening to the program.
Well, it's a case of bra and whatever it is that is the content.
I want to appreciate what you have done. We know that what Bayo Onanuga did was a red herring. He wants to gauge the reaction of people to that callous and unguarded statement. They can't touch P2B unless they want to set the country on fire, because the man has done nothing. The government is afraid of its own shadow. We all know it. And the youth can see what is happening. The Constitution does not provide for the office of First Lady, and you're budgeting money for it. And listen, I'm advising constituents, my own constituents in Delta State, please let us form a very strong movement. Our representatives who are receiving constituency project funds, they must account for what they've done for it. We cannot just blame the president alone. He is the architect of most things. But let us start from home. Let them tell us the money they receive for constituency projects, according to them, they must identify those projects. Let us begin to hold them responsible. And like Dr. Anongu Moses said, they will run. At the appropriate time, they will run. All we have to do is to ensure that most of the embassies do not grant them visas. Thank God Ndume has said that he doesn't have any passport or even a visa to go anywhere. We shall block the airport. They won't go anywhere. Thank you.
Anyway, thank you very much, and that's the much we can take, people. The solution so far provided that people should not protest, while some say the young Nigerians should go ahead and do whatever they wish to do as long as they remain peaceful. And lastly, we now have another suggestion that says that the young Nigerians who are planning to protest should also not look at the presidency, but look at their various reps in their various states whom they have given, or rather, whom they have given the power to represent them. On that note, I say thank you very much for joining me in this conversation this evening, which we titled the the Bayo Ononuga gaslighting young Nigerians. Thank you very much for those of you who joined us in this room. Please do much, and those of you online, please like and follow the page where you're watching this. I know we are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. If you're following us on Twitter, that's at Njenje Media. If you're following us on YouTube, please do by all means follow us on YouTube, and on Facebook, it's the same handle, Njenje Media. Thank you very much. And I say thank you, all my guests. Again, you've been a wonderful guest. I had 5 people here. That's in no particular order. I had Barrister Saraki Husanini, who joined us from Bauchi, Professor Mustpha Nwaokobia, who joined us from Abuja, Saratu, Larai, Shekari, who also joined us, Dr. Moses Paul, Elder Deli Ajufo, and I am your host, Maazi Ezeoke. And I say to you, good night. Let's pray. Keep praying that things get better. But while you're at it, let us do the right thing and keep doing the right thing. And let us endeavor to hold